Hello, it is Friday the 7th, and today is the first day of Summerween. What you just saw was my breakfast. So I decided I wanted to try and vlog as much as possible as I can for Summerween. So welcome to the vlog. I am going to sit down, going to get my breakfast in, then I'm probably going to do a little bit of work, and then I will come back and talk to you about what I am going to be reading for the week of Summerween, because I'm really excited for a couple of them for sure. Actually, I'm excited about all of them. Why would I say I am excited about all of my picks for Summerween, and I cannot wait to get started. We'll see you in a bit. I'm back. It is the beginning of Summerween. Today is the 7th, like I said before. And I just wanted really quickly to talk about what I'm going to be reading for this week of Summerween. So I'm really excited. I guess I'll start with the first one. One of the challenges in Summerween was to read a manga or a short novel. And so I decided to pick up Villains Are Destined to Die. Look at how pretty it is. I ordered it from Amazon because I couldn't pick it up anywhere around here. And it looks so pretty. I'm so glad I ordered it. It's fully color. It's all color inside, which in my experience with manga, nothing ever really came fully colored. It was just, the covers that had color. And so then you had to use your imagination. But this one looks like it will be fun. I used to enjoy manga quite a lot, actually. So I am really looking forward to this. The art looks pretty good too. It didn't come all beat up, which is what I was afraid was going to happen if I ordered it from Amazon, because things getting delivered, the stuff shifts around. The package that it came in was one of those just bags, and I was so worried when I opened. I was like, this thing is going to be bent up and creased and awful. But no, it came, and it's in great condition. I think maybe this little corner got, bent down just a little bit, but not even in a noticeable way. So anyway, looking forward to starting that. I think I'll start this today because I know I'll fly through this one really fast, because I used to, when I read manga, I literally pick up the thing and read it in one day, in a few hours, no problem. And then I'd end up reading them over and over again. But that's cool. So that's that one. The other books that I got, one of them, I actually intentionally, sort of both, just kept listening to because I was really interested in it, enjoying it, is Deborah Harkness's Shadow of Night. Is the second book in the All Souls series. There's actually 5 books. The 5th one is supposed to come out pretty soon, I think this year at some point. But apparently there are 5 books in this series. I thought there were only 3. So I finished Shadow of Night, and I'm like, well, I need another one for Summerween because we haven't even started yet. So I did go ahead and pick up the next book in that series, Book of Life. So it is the 3rd part of the All Souls series, and hopefully it will wrap up most of the story of the main characters. Apparently the main characters are in all of the books so far. So I don't know if this will wrap up their main story. That's Diana and Matthew de Clermont. I don't know. Well, we'll see. The second book was pretty good. I enjoyed it. Still enjoyed it quite a bit. I really loved the first one in comparison, though. It just kind of slowed down more. But I enjoyed, the history that was going on and where they had traveled to. And it was just an interesting kind of historical fiction take on things going on in this kind of fantasy alternate reality. I enjoyed that quite a bit. So if you enjoyed A Discovery of Witches, you should probably read the second one. Some people didn't really like the second one, but I think it was just because it took such a turn into being more of a historical book and things going on in Elizabethan times. So I just found it fascinating, and I ate it up. It was very different from the first book, but I still enjoyed it a lot and just ate it up. Another book for Summerween that I'm picking up, and I could only get it through my library, and this is where I was torn. This is the thriller I was torn on. I could not get a copy of The Chateau. It's just not around at my local library. The waiting list for it is like 6-7 weeks, something like that. So it just wasn't going to be possible. I couldn't even get the physical copy. I thought about maybe going over to Barnes and Noble and just picking up a copy. But it's like I've already picked up so many books recently. I am just going to wait on The Chateau. But I could get The Paris Apartment in Kindle form. So I went ahead and got The Paris Apartment through Libby on my Kindle, and I will be reading that, hopefully starting tonight. I am reading a couple other things, which I'm going to get to in just a second. So I got The Paris Apartment on my Kindle. I'm glad I can you guys can see the cover really well. So I'll be reading that this evening. That's what I have for Summerween. So those 3 books, and they cover all of the challenges other than reading at night, but I read at night anyway because I read right before I go to bed. So hopefully The Paris Apartment will be spooky enough or thrilling, spooky, whatever, enough. If I feel like I need something kind of scarier, I might throw in one more book. I just don't think I will yet, and I'm not really quite sure what that would be. I thought about maybe getting my friend's exorcism, my best friend's exorcism. I'll throw it over here. It looked like an interesting book. I like the cover. I think it's very retro, very cool, and I'd be interested in reading it just based on the cover itself. Those are the Summerween that I'm going to get to. I guess I'll talk very briefly what else I've got on my TBR, because I wanted to go ahead and film TBR anyway. My TBR is all over the place. So, I just mentioned those 2 Villains Are Destined to Die, The Paris Apartment, and The Book of Life. So those are all on TBR right now. I finished for Jane Austen July. I did finish Pride and Prejudice, and I am so proud of myself. I did read that one a long time ago, so I remembered most of the story, and so I flew through Pride and Prejudice. It was a very fast read for me. I had gotten it on audiobook format on YouTube. There was a really good LibriVox production of it on there from, I think, 2007. I also read along on a copy a free copy actually from Kindle Unlimited. That's right. I went ahead and just downloaded a Kindle Unlimited version onto my Kindle and read and listened along. And it was so fast. It was so good, though. And I feel like I read faster than somebody narrates sometimes. So most of it I actually just read. And I took it with me everywhere and I read it. And I forgot how good Pride and Prejudice is. And I just kept listening and listening and listening and reading and reading and reading. And I didn't want to stop. I did not want to stop reading that until it was done, and so good. I forgot how great it was. Also, as part of Jane Austen July, I did not know that Bridget Jones's Diary is supposed to be a retelling of Pride and Prejudice. Had no idea. So I've never watched Bridget Jones's Diary, and I've never read Bridget Jones's Diary. So I thought I would go ahead and pick that up. And this will fulfill the requirement for a retelling, a modern retelling. And then I'm going to also watch the movie Bridget Jones's Diary to see how it compares to the book. How far along am I in this thing? I'm pretty well in there. I am 99 pages in Bridget Jones's Diary. Some people didn't like this book. I could see why. It's written, it is a diary. It is written by entry, and so you're reading a number of entries as you go through here. It's broken up into different months of the year. January, February, yada, yada, yada. So it's broken up that way and not really by chapter. It's because it's all diary entries. You have to kind of get used to the acronyms a little bit and how she abbreviates a few things. So instead of writing out the word very, she keeps using the V period, so this is V period absurd, or this is V period awesome, So this is very awesome. So it's interesting. It's funny. Oh my gosh, I was laughing out loud last night from a description of a dinner party that she tries to do and just miserably fails at, and it is just hysterical. There's a couple things I don't really like so much in it is the weight obsession. But when this book was written, the dieting culture and body acceptance was not like it is today. So this book was written, copyright Helen Fielding, 1996. So this is when I was still a relatively young woman, young girl. I would have been 11 or 12, I think. Yeah, I would have been 11 or 12. So I would never have been reading this, of course, at that time. But dieting culture was way different back in the day. It definitely shows in this because she is obsessed with how much she weighs from the very beginning of the book. And it does kind of have a good message about it, though, at one point, because her friends point out to her, you don't have to really diet so much. We liked you as you were. So that was a really good point. So her obsession about it kind of, was a little startling at first. Now that, we're in the modern era of 2023, her talking about her obsession with her weight was a little bit startling. But that's beside the point. Otherwise, it's hilarious, and I'm hoping the movie is pretty good. I remember when the movie came out a long time ago. I just never watched the movie because I'd never read the book and I wasn't interested really in that sort of thing at the time. I think Hugh Grant's in it, isn't he? I don't know, some Englishman, I think, if I remember correctly. But it all takes place in 1990s Britain. Nobody has cell phones also. So it definitely is a book that shows its age because nobody has cell phones either. And she talks about her message machine and the voice, not voicemails, but the recordings you would leave on your message machines and things like that. So it's like a blast from the past in a way, which is kind of good. But I haven't really noticed the parallels between this book and Pride and Prejudice yet. It might just be the banter between the two, romantically involved characters in it. Maybe also there's some parallel in how she's interacting with the other characters in the book and the social conventions. Maybe that's part of the parallel. But I mean, it's very different from Pride and Prejudice so far. But if I figure it out, I'll let you guys know. Maybe I'll read something else that tells me how this is a retelling of Pride and Prejudice, because I don't see it yet. Anyway, that is Bridget Jones's Diary. So I'm glad I found that for the Jane Austen July. So back to the TBR. Jane Austen at Home is another one I'm reading for Jane Austen July, just to get some history of Jane Austen. Really, really interesting stuff so far. It's a long book, though. It's like 350 something pages long. So I'm probably going to be reading it all of this month and in chunks at a time, just so I can get through it. It's not that it's uninteresting, it's just a lot of material. And I'm still at the very beginning of it right now, where she's mostly talking about not even Jane Austen herself yet, but her family and her mother and her father and their families. So maybe kind of a slow beginning, but I'm hoping it'll pick up and I will be, able to just kind of go through a bit more quickly than I am right now. But honestly, it's still really good. Just other books now that I've picked up that are outside of any challenges. I I got the loan from the library for Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson. And this I picked up because of, wanting to read and listen to some more fantasy material. I'm still kind of in that Sarah J. Maas mood where I want either fantasy, high fantasy, fantasy romance, something like that. I've seen it on a bunch of lists on TikTok, I think, and maybe YouTube. I don't know, but a couple of people have had Dance of Thieves on their list. So I was like, okay, well, let's go ahead and listen to this. So I am starting to listen to that, and I'm going to have to get on that as soon as I can, really, because it's due in 8 days. So I'll probably end up listening to this while I'm working. It'll just be easier that way, and I can get through it. Let's see. And the very last thing that I just threw my I put a hold in at the library for it, and I didn't think I was going to get it anywhere soon, anytime soon. This hold was put in like 2 months ago. I didn't think it was ever going to go through. I finally got a hold of Priest, which is a smut corner pick. I haven't read a smutty book probably in months now that I think about it. So I picked up Priest because I have seen it around, especially on Book Talk. Think, the spiciest, smuttiest material that I have seen on Book Talk. And it's been on those lists. And so it's like, okay, well, let's read Priest now that we finally have got a hold of it. And that one is due in 15 days, so I should probably get through it before halfway through this month. So Dance of Thieves is due in 8 days, which is what I'm scared of. And I got to get on that right away, because if I don't, then I'm going to end up losing the book, and then I'll have to put the loan in, the hold in again. And I hate putting hold ins like twice. It's so annoying when I have to do that. So I have a pretty full TBR, actually. So that's what, I think I've got like 8 books on my TBR. I'll make sure of the count before and while I edit this video. If I put a number somewhere around here, that means I have actually miscounted in my head. But I think right now I've got like 8 books that are on the docket. Ooh, scary stuff. But last month was great, though, because I read a lot more than I thought I was going to initially. I think I read like 10 books last month. It was crazy. I do have some books from last month's TBR that I did not get around to, but if I have time this month, I will go ahead and throw them in. Sally Rooney's Normal People and Secret Garden were the ones I was most interested in last month, but I just didn't get to because I kind of went with my feelings on that and just read what I felt like reading, not really sticking to the TBR strictly or anything, which is absolutely fine. I don't have to strictly go with my TBR. But I think that's it right now for this update on what I'm reading. I'm going to go ahead and just keep vlogging for the day. And I think what I'm going to go do is sit down and work for just a little while. And then today I'm picking up this beautiful, beautiful book and starting on it. And more than likely what's going to end up happening is I'm going to get stuck on the couch that's over there and not want to have to put this down and end up reading it all day, which is fine, which is totally fine. I'm actually got this horrible, nasty sore throat business going on, and my husband got sick, which of course he did, because any time that I plan on doing anything first, like a specific day or a specific week, somebody gets sick. It never fails in our lives that somebody just gets sick, and then we end up having to cancel, or I have to postpone, or X, Y, and Z. It just is what it is, and it's awful. But I'm dealing with this okay. Hopefully I won't get as sick as he did, because he was had a fever, had to stay in bed all day, like yesterday kind of thing, and I really don't want to do that. But anyway, I'll just keep vlogging. So yeah, ciao for now. Hello, hi. I took a shower and got dressed, and it's cloudy outside right now. This is like the best light so far in the house other than turning on actual lights. But I'm a cheapskate and I don't ever turn on my actual lights during the day because I don't want to pay the freaking electric bill. Anyway, so I am reading this book, Villains Are Destined to Die. And so far, I am enjoying it. The story is not as in-depth and rich as I was hoping it might be. That might just be because I am just now finishing up on the first part of it. So it looks like the graphic novel is broken up into a prologue, which is pretty short, and then part 1 and then part 2. Where the prologue, you kind of find out about, the life of this person that's gotten stuck into this video game. And then part 2, we find out a bit more about the villainess who she unfortunately has become, and kind of how her life ended up like that a little bit. We don't have the whole story yet, of course, so it is what it is. But, it's got my interest enough to want me to keep going. So I'm going to finish the whole thing. And like I said, I'm already halfway through it. I'm going to finish this up probably before I go get my kids for school. And it's only taken me about an hour. But, that's what you expect with manga. You have a few words here and there. Sometimes there are little paragraphs. But mostly it's pictures. So they're quick reads. They're always quick reads. I always feel like I read them too fast all the time, but they're just quick reads. That's just what it is. And I had this little knitted hot pad around, and I grabbed it and threw it in there, and then I noticed, the color is totally appropriate. I am gonna keep reading this, and I should finish it up tonight, and then I'll let you all let you know what I think about it. So far, it's okay. Bye. Hello, I'm back again. This will be the final piece of this video for the first day of Summerween. And I said I'd come back and tell you all what I thought of this. I finished the whole manga, and I enjoyed it. It was really good. The ending was far better. Like, the second half of this was far better than the rest of it. As I was getting past the first part, it was starting to get a little bit more interesting. And then as we got into part 2, it got way more interesting really fast. And I would be very interested in picking up the next volume of this. I really wish that manga now is quite expensive. This retails $20 US. You can usually pick up volumes for a little bit cheaper if you go through Amazon, or if you go through Target. Actually had the matching Amazon price. So if you're ever at a Target and you see something you want, I say grab it, because they usually sell it for about $13.50 if I'm remembering correctly. So it's about almost $5. Yeah, $5 or $6 off. But like I said, this was really good. What I also found out about this particular series, this is not actually Japanese. This is a Korean artist and I guess publisher that put these out. I didn't really know the Koreans were making manga, but I guess all flavors of Asia or Asian area of the world are creating manga now, which is really cool. I think that's neat. You can also find these online in an online manga. I know Tappy Toon is one, and I think it's in a couple of different ones also. I did look it up online, so you could probably read all of the series that's out so far online if you wanted to. But like I said, pretty interesting. I may pick up some more of it. I may decide to try and I may decide to try and read it online too if I can get it relatively cheaply, because that's the main part of this, is I don't want to spend a whole bunch of money on books all the time. But I'll hang on to this one. It was really good. Then it's night now also. It is dark. And I am reading The Paris Apartment. I have progressed in this, how much? About 5%. So I've gone through like the first couple of chapters. Apparently, it is told through the perspectives of different people that are living where this apartment is, the big building that this apartment exists in. And everyone that lives there seems to be affected by the murder of I guess I'll call her our protagonist's brother, who you actually get the brother's perspective before the murder occurs. So, and also, we don't even know he's been murdered yet. He might just be missing at this point, but I'm assuming he's been murdered. But so far, The Paris Apartment is okay. I don't really have an opinion on it yet because we just got started. The writing style is good, very straightforward. I am not bored by it. I want to keep reading it, so it does have me hooked a bit. I haven't read a thriller in a while also, so it's pretty exciting for me to actually read a thriller. So anyway, we're reading some more at night and fulfilling that part of our Summerween journey together. So anyway, I think that's it for right now. I will continue to film on into tomorrow and hopefully get pretty far in this, and then I need to start listening to the Book of Life as well. So need to start reading The Paris Apartment. I will probably finish this in a couple of days. It's not a really long book. I think the Kindle told me it was like 8 hours with the rate that I was going, but it looked like it'd be really shorter if I picked up the pace on it. So I don't think that one will take very long at all. The one that will take me the most time will be the Book of Life, because it's another 24-hour listen to, which, you know, I usually break up into a few days or so. So it's not going to be too bad. If I have to finish out Summerween by listening to that, that's totally fine too. But anyway, I think that's it for right now. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you all very, very soon. Have a great day. Bye.